Hello, everyone. My name is Holly Holst. This is my Forum 2 presentation for Info 5620, History of Books and Printing, a tale of two S's, understanding long S in early printing. Let's start with a most famous sentence in U.S. history. Can you read this famous 250-year-old sentence? Does anything look strange to you? If so, that, my friends, is the historical long S. Despite the look, this sentence does read, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal." Like most of our letters, the long S started in handwriting, with the earliest appearance in 8th century Rome. Some version of the long S existed in most, if not all, fonts until the 18th century. There's not a whole lot of why in the historical record for the reason behind this. However, we can learn a lot about its use from primary documents, including dictionaries, grammar, and compositors' guides, especially from the 18th century. The S we use today was the only one capitalized historically. This is the short S. It appears smaller in stature. It is terminal in use, meaning primarily at the end of words. In instances of a double S in a word, in most cases, the short S would appear last if both were used. I created this long S you see here using Caslon number 3 in Canva. I had to remove the crossbar in a lowercase f. The long S was used medially, meaning primarily appeared in the middle of words and sentences. It is only used in lowercase form. It is defined as stretched and often seen with a nub, which can make it easily confused with the lowercase f. When Gutenberg developed the first type for his printing press, according to historian Samuel Loxley, he wanted to create a smooth transition from handwriting for the success of the enterprise to reproduce an existing and accepted style. During its early history and in much of Europe, printing was purely a means of propaganda to be rigorously controlled. In Great Britain, a 1589 decree prohibited printing outside of London, with the exception of one press at the universities of Oxford and Cambridge. This remained in force until 1695. A 1637 Star Chamber decree limited type production in England to only 4 producers. These restrictions limited free thinking, questioning, and creativity for font and typography development. In the 18th century, that began to change. And while the first book in English to be printed without a long S was in 1749, it was another 50 years or more before it is widely abandoned in English printing offices. In the last century of the long S use, Caslon font dominated American printing offices and was the font of choice for important documents printed during the American Revolution, such as the Declaration of Independence. On July 4, 1776, after finalizing the draft of the Declaration of Independence, the Continental Congress ordered it be published by Philadelphia printer John Dunlap, whose office used the Caslon font. The Dunlap broadside was first of many to be printed, and it was used to spread news quickly and efficiently as possible, like a Facebook post or regularly scheduled breaking news today. Broadsides were posted on buildings and trees, as well as used in public readings, and of course, the orators knew to expect the long S. In my research, I found most historians of the long S study its use through historical, archival, handwritten, and printed documents. I decided to do the same and use the Declaration of Independence as a document to analyze the long S use historically, and it ended up being a great resource. Because the long S is used in 195 words in this one-page document. These are just a few examples of those words. The revolutionary generation in the United States were ready to create a democratic Republic fundamentally different than anything else in the world, but many printing offices kept their Caslon font and long S even after the war. But the long S did not last long into the next century. Just as the Enlightenment encouraged revolutionizing governments, so too did people begin to question the need for the long S. Printers began to discontinue use in mid-18th century, and by the beginning of the 19th century, it is mostly discontinued in American English printing, as well as most European countries. This changed compositors' guides, such as the one you see here from 1808. The age of the Enlightenment improved literacy rates, and printers wanted to meet the demand of publications and font styles that were easier to read. Poor quality of ink, paper, and type worn from use had the potential to create unintended typos in printing. Printing historian Paul W. Nash claimed the abandoning of the long S is the only fundamental change in the range of textual characters used by printers. So, this summer, while you celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, you can read it just as our founding generation did, in Caslon font and expecting the long S. And be grateful the long S is no longer in use today. Thank you for viewing this presentation. Please post any questions, and I look forward to our interactions. I'm also interested to know how many of you knew about the long S before viewing. And my final two slides include my image sources. Thank you again, and I hope you continue to enjoy the rest of Form 2.